Now, before I got arrested, I thought prisoners lock them up, throw away the key. It's, child rapists, serial killers. I didn't understand what was going on. Once I got in there and saw it's nearly all drug related, and it's mentally ill people, young people, a lot of my friends are ex-Marines, soldiers who come back, and heard all their sad stories. A lot of them couldn't read or write, thrown away as kids. It opened my heart to them, and I understood the business side of it as well because of my business education. The war on drugs is what's caused this explosion in the prison system in America, and it's making all these massive profits for all these different industries. Women, for example, never used to be in prison. It's very rare. They're the fastest growing prison population right now. And these corporations are looking at the UK as a growth market. Chris Grayling right now, he's our Justice Minister, he's trying to open the biggest kids prison in the Western world here in this country. Yeah, it's all about just getting this money in from these private contractors and all this kind of stuff. He's just opened the biggest one for adults in the UK recently. He got that one through already. He's pushing to get this one for the kids. And it's not violent offenders. Violent offenders, do need to be locked up. We need to be protected from them. Well, how many times do you see someone's raped someone or molested a child and they got a 2 or 3 year sentence? Yeah, you've got all these people involved in drugs that are doing decades or doing life sentences. It should be the other way around, and nearly everyone in prison right now has got an addiction problem. It's nearly all drug related. President Nixon, who kicked off the war on drugs, he secretly felt that people who are doing drugs, there's something hurting inside them. They need counselling, they need rehabilitation, they need all these things to help them. It's a mental health issue. But when he increased sentences for drugs, his popularity went off the scale. So every politician ever since has followed that model, and that's why the people in power won't change it, because they're scared of losing votes. The war on drugs was started to get votes. It wasn't started to protect people. Because look what it's done. You've got almost $1 trillion worth a year of drugs being produced right now. You've got chaos all over the world. You've got all these heads getting cut off in Mexico and all that stuff. It's all an unintended consequence of the war on drugs. But there's so many people making money off it from every angle that they're blocking it being changed. There's been a reaction in America because everyone in America now has a family member or a friend or knows someone in prison. 1 in 100 adults in prison. For black guys, it's 1 in 30. Yeah, there's more in prison, probation, parole than are in college or were held under slavery before slavery was abolished. Yeah. So, and it's all this money thing. So it's sad that our government here is following the American model. But if they want to do the right thing, if they want to rehabilitate people, because these guys get out and they become our neighbours. You look at the Scandinavians, they've got the lowest crime and reoffending in the whole world. They give people job skills, education, all that kind of stuff, help them read and write. But no, we're looking to the Americans where crime is off the scale and everything else is off the scale. But it's all about money at the end of the day. It's really sad. Yeah.
So you say they built this big prison somewhere in the UK, and now what they're going to do, they will just populate it.
Yeah, let's cut education, let's cut youth centres, let's, keep everywhere flooded with drugs, and it's a no-brainer that place is going to get filled up. Yeah, and, it was Reagan and Bush Senior, war on drugs, big war on drugs proponents. They had, the Bush family have investments in the prison industries. And has anyone seen that movie Kill the Messenger? It's coming out now that the crack explosion that was causing all these people to go to prison, especially black guys, they racked sentences up for black guys to try and put all these crack users and crack dealers into prison in America. It's come out now that all that cocaine that was being brought into America was being brought in by the CIA. And the journalist who discovered that, Webb, his name is, he was executed by them. Yeah, he was found dead in his hotel room. It was a brutal suicide with 2 bullets in his head. Yeah, but it sounds hard to believe that. The government is the biggest drug dealer. But if you watch this movie, Kill the Messenger, and even the CIA has declassified this now, some of the documents, and they've admitted it. Yeah. So yeah, let's bring the drugs in, let's lock all these young people up, especially the blacks, especially the Mexican Americans, make all this money off them, and make all this money off bringing it in as well. So corrupt.
Sounds like modern slavery system.
Yeah, it is. And they get paid 10 to 50 cents an hour to do all this work, and that's how they compete against China and all these other countries. Yeah?
Can I just say, you've been on Sky News and other TV quite a lot recently.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what that's been for?
Well, I was on a drugs debate on ITV recently. It's the O'Brien show. And basically, it's a bit of it's a Jerry Springer-esque affair, tabloid fiasco. And they were bringing in people who'd been in prison and victims of crimes and setting them up. So I was getting set up. One of my mates was on there, Ben Gunn. He's done 30 years for murder, and he brought family members of murder victims, and they were threatening his life all throughout the show. Anyway, they brought a woman whose daughter had died from ecstasy in, and I was there as someone who's formerly dealt ecstasy, and I think that they wanted us to, go at it. But she says that the war on drugs, her daughter is dead because of the war on drugs. Because right now, you've got all these kids taking legal highs, you've got all these kids taking fake ecstasy, and they don't know what they're buying. They're basically guinea pigs for all these, new designer drugs. The reason that you can't get good ecstasy anymore, the pure ecstasy, is because the war on drugs, they've stopped the chemical manufacturers from making sassafras and stuff like that, which makes the pure ecstasy. So ecstasy is getting cut with all these things like PMA, which is potentially deadly. And she was saying that because of the war on drugs, her daughter was dead. So we were actually on the same side, and they had a guy in there who was saying about drugs need to remain illegal, blah, blah, blah. So I said to him, if you found some weed in your son's bedroom, for example, would you call the cops, have him arrested, sent to prison, where it's gang infested, where all the guys are shooting up heroin and crystal meth, so he's going to become a worse drug user, and all this stuff, would you do that? And he said, no, I wouldn't do that. So I said to him, okay then, so you're against drugs being illegal, you're for drugs being legal for the rest of us, but except for your family, basically, that's what I said to him. Because that's what the war on drugs has boiled down to. It's a war against young people, it's a war against the mentally ill, it's a war against people with addiction issues. It's not all big time dealers in prison and serial killers and paedophiles. It's nearly, there's 2 million young people in this country that have been busted with possession of drugs, minor possession. They can't even get back into the workforce now because they've got